antique collectors, buyers, and even vintage cowboy collectors. It may be for your home, man cave, or she shack. Antiques and collectibles are enjoyed by many. Watch the Antique Showcase Weekly right here on Tremedia Plus. You may just find that one item you need to complete your collection. Check out this sample from one of our past shows and see what you're missing.
So we're back here with Philip Grundhauser. Philip, I actually know you from Sammy B's auction house. You were the manager over there at Sammy B's, right?
That's correct, Holly.
And are things going well over there?
Very busy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you find that you end up buying a lot of things?
I try not to. Every week I go in there and say, I'm not going to buy nothing today.
Uh-huh. No, yeah.
I can't help myself.
Well, yeah, you've got all that
the
stuff.
Temptation, you know,
Sure.
and I see it all week long and I go, oh, I like this piece.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
and I can't help myself.
That's the disease that we have, right?
That's it.
It's
That's why
incurable.
we do what I do, is because I'm a collector.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is your booth here at Somewhere in Time Antique Mall, and I am envying, or coveting, I should say, a lot of things in here. You and I are fairly similar in what attracts our eye.
Yeah.
We tend to compete sometimes at the auction house, all in good fun though.
That's right. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, right?
That's right. That's
so,
right.
but you've got a couple of things here that I'm really interested in. And
Yeah.
before we turn the camera on, you said that you like to collect a lot of old electronics.
Yeah,
and
I
things
love
like that.
old technology.
Old technology.
You know, like typewriters and stuff like that, and anything that from the 20s, 30s, or 40s is very interesting to me because I like the history. I love history.
Yeah.
And when I get an item and I get a little piece of that history from that person, you know, because that's what I try to do, is I try to learn where this piece came from.
Right.
And that's my passion.
Right.
And so that's what I buy. If it's passionate to me and I have good vibes off of it, it's what I love to do, you know? And
Well,
it's just cool, you know?
it is
Old
cool.
pieces.
I love this. This is super, super cool. Can you tell me a little bit about this piece and where you got it?
This piece actually came from an estate of actually a hero of Reno, Nevada.
Really?
Yeah, this came from the estate of Jack Streeter. Jack Streeter was in World War II and landed on the beach of Omaha during World War II.
Wow.
And fought. He survived World War II, came back home, and he liked to collect stuff like this. Now, this is one of two polygraph machines west of the Mississippi, apparently.
Of this time period?
Yeah. There was only two because it's such old technology. And I don't know where Jack got it, to tell you the truth. But when he came back home, he started collecting these types of items. Jack passed away a couple years ago, and I was able to acquire this machine.
Have you tested it? Does it still
It doesn't.
work?
I don't have the wires to it. So everything's there except for the actual cords that plug in.
So if somebody was handy with that kind of thing, do you think they could refurbish it?
I think you could find the cords to it. It might take a little bit of research, but somebody's going to have cords somewhere with it.
Right. Well, regardless of whether or not it's functioning right now, just the look of it is fantastic. It's really, really cool. All the dials and the graph and all of that. And imagine all of the criminals that had to be wired up to that.
Who got
thing.
wired up to that?
Right. Al Capone could have been wired up to that seismograph. I mean, that polygraph machine right there. You just don't know things like that. That's what I think makes them so special.
It is a rare machine. I guess it around the 30s, you know, one of very early model. And who has one?
Right.
Who has one at home?
You do.
No, I do.
Phil.
So that's the cool thing.
Right.
I got one,
Right.
and nobody else does.
And,
that's what's
it's
makes
up
it
for
fun.
sale, and that's the really cool thing is that you found it, and now you're
Right.
able to pass that on to somebody else who might be as passionate about something
Right.
like that as you
so
are.
that is fun.
You talked too about cameras. You like I know personally from my own collecting and reselling that cameras are really hot, especially if you get the right camera. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I'm not an expert on cameras. I do know enough to be dangerous, and I do enjoy them. I like them. The reason why I like them is that as a kid, my mom always took 8mm films, and we used to sit almost every weekend and watch our own home movies and make popcorn and make a show out of it.
Yeah.
So that's what got me into the cameras. So I have actually, like the machine I have there on the counter right now, Holly, this 8mm, this little tower, just a couple of weeks ago, before I brought it in here, I watched my mom's movies on it before I brought
Did
it down
you
here.
really?
I actually did.
That's so sweet.
And so it was just fun. So we sat down and watched my mom's movies, and that's why I like the cameras. And so every time I see an 8mm camera, or whether it be a camera or the projector, I usually buy them. I'll watch a film on it, see how they work, and then I'll bring them down here for somebody else to enjoy.
Oh, that's
So that's fun.
fabulous.
It makes it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And that looks like it's in incredible condition. It
It
almost
works
looks
great, like I
brand
said.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. There's some other things in here that I love. You like toys. I like toys, and you've got quite a collection of toys. Although you said they tend to fly off the shelf. It's hard for you to keep.
Right. Actually, right now my toys are way down. Actually, and because I've been selling them a lot. The thing was full just last month. And
Is there a particular kind of toy that you sell more than others?
well, I like toys, and I have a lot at home that I don't actually sell.
You're still playing with them.
I have my own collection.
Yeah.
Because I like cast iron toys from the 20s, the Hubblies and stuff, and I like the tin toys, which I have a huge collection at home, and Lionel trains at home. Now all that stuff is usually 65 or older in my collection, what I collect, and they don't last because you
Yeah.
can't find them.
Right.
They're
Well,
hard
and
to
I
find.
know a lot of times with, especially the pressed tin toys, they tend to fade over time. So to find them with
With the good litho
good
on
color and
yeah, right,
yeah, it's pretty hard. So I can understand why when you get those, you don't want to let them go.
No, and they're just hard to find. Period.
Yeah,
Anymore. You know,
yeah.
they're
Well-
really popular. Pressed tin toys are really hot,
Yeah.
and cast iron's really hot. And real cast iron. I'm not talking about the. There's a lot of reproduction of it.
Can you tell me how you tell the difference between a real cast iron and a reproduction cast iron?
I have an example
Oh, okay.
right here.
All right.
Follow me. This, you can tell, this is reproduction. You can see it in the pieces. If you look at the pieces, the way they're molded, the way it's cracked along the edges. Okay, you can see the seams.
The seam,
The seams, the definition of everything on here. You could tell they made this to look old, and it's not. It's new.
Wow, I would never have guessed that.
Yeah.
I would have thought
Really?
that this was
You could
old.
tell because I got a lot of cast irons at home that are old, and there is a difference.
I know, like for me, the thing that I
No,
know
I
with
don't-
cast iron is you want to look at the screw. Sometimes there's a screw that holds the piece together, right? So if it's a Phillips head screw,
Oh, absolutely not.
definitely fake.
Definitely fake.
But if
Yeah.
it's a flat head screw, you're getting more towards possibility of
Yeah,
it being
and they
real.
even reproduce it to make it look old. They put those old screws and nuts in there too. But you can still go by the seams and the way it's formed together. Old cast iron is tight. Really, really tight. Very tight seams.
And will a Hubley
very-
always be marked? Hubley? Will they?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they're not. They're not always marked. Who's marked is arcade toys.
Arcade.
Arcade usually always marked underneath it or on the door. There'll be a number there. Hubley is not always marked.
Okay. So it takes
There
that,
might be nothing on a Hubley.
takes that special eye then.
It does. It
trained
really
eye.
it just takes experience and looking at your cast iron.
Well, I bet this would fool a lot of people. You and I have been at the auctions, and someone was bidding on some cast iron banks, and I
They
was
were
surprised
all
that they were
reproduction.
going for as much as they were, because I could tell I could tell they were reproduction because of the screw trick that I knew.
Right, and
But,
that's you're talking about that. Here's an example of that piece from that we had at the auctions. This is a reproduction. You can see that it's reproduction.
Well, the paint is too new,
there's your
right?
Phillips
There's
screw
your Phillips head screw there.
That you're talking about,
Right.
this reproduction.
Right. So, yeah, but a lot of people try to pass these off as real, and so
Yeah,
it's
and if you don't know what you're
important
looking,
that
and it's still a good piece. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad piece. It's still a good cast iron. cast iron toy. For those people that want to get into collecting and want to, start with something, this is a good place to start, because an original bank is going to cost you 3 times this.
Right. Well, and you're a reputable dealer, because it says right here, reproduction, cast iron.
I put it right on there exactly along with this toy right here. And, I don't want to, I'm not here to rip anybody off.
Right.
I still like the cast iron. That's why I have this piece. And, it's still kind of fun. You put your quarter in here. You can still, something you could play with instead of putting on your shelf.
Right.
You can
Right.
use.
Yep.
It's a good usable piece.
Absolutely. Very cool. Well, Phil, thank you so much. That was very informative. I might have to come in for a better lesson on this, a private lesson about how to tell. But it was a pleasure talking to you. Phil's got a booth down here at Somewhere in Time Antique Mall on Virginia Street. Come on down. Phil will be here. You can catch him sometimes over at Sammy B's Auction House on Rock on Friday nights, right?
Yeah. I'm over there Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Friday nights. Like I said, I manage the place, and you can call me anytime.
All right.
All right.
It's always a good time. Thanks, Phil, so much.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you. Stay tuned. More fun right after.